think about something as simple as the price of weed at your local shop, or even just that quiet suburban street nearby. What if those everyday things hide something?
Yeah.
Well, something much bigger and, frankly, darker. Today, we're diving deep into what's being called the Green Dragon Network.
Hmm.
And look, this isn't just some local issue. It's this complex web of Chinese syndicates, really deeply embedded in the U.S. cannabis market, but like hidden in plain sight.
Exactly. And our mission today really is to unpack this whole thing. We're going to look at how it works, the sheer scale of it,
Right.
which is pretty staggering. And the implications, they go way beyond just drugs. We're talking economy, human rights, even national security.
Right.
Think of this as maybe a shortcut to understanding this like hidden side of the global economy and how it's actually playing out right here at home.
Yeah, because this isn't just some abstract crime story, is it? It hits legal businesses, real people's lives, community stability even. It affects prices, what's available,
Okay.
public trust, all of that. So, okay, let's get into it. Where did this whole thing even start?
Well, it's fascinating. It actually traces back to the early 2000s. You had Beijing cracking down hard on capital flight people trying to move money out of China. So wealthy Chinese nationals started quietly moving millions into U.S. foreclosures, interestingly enough.
Foreclosures. So they were flipping houses.
See, that's the twist. No, this wasn't about flipping properties. The money was specifically for setting up these pretty extensive indoor cannabis farms.
Indoors.
Yeah.
In regular houses.
Yep, hidden away in quiet suburban neighborhoods. California, Colorado, New York, behind those, HOA fences. Total ghost grows, designed to just blend right in.
Wow. Invisible. But how did anyone even find out?
Well, there were some early busts that started to pull back the curtain. Like in Denver, 2016, these Asian pride raids.
I think I remember hearing something about that.
They hit over 250 homes, and these places were completely kitted out, grow lights everywhere, blackout curtains, often stealing electricity.
Stealing power, too.
Oh, yeah. And the key thing, tied to Chinese buyers using fake IDs or just paying all cash, made it really hard to track.
Okay, 250 homes just in Denver.
Right.
That's already huge.
Mm.
Did things escalate from there? Did they figure out more about the money side?
They did. The very next year, 2017, you had Operation Lights Out in Sacramento. Federal agents raided over 100 homes there. And get this, they traced them all back to one single Chinese realtor.
One realtor. Seriously.
Seriously. And the feds were clear. These weren't, isolated grows. They called them pieces of a billion-dollar machine. They figured out how the money flowed through straw buyers, complex escrow stuff, hard money lenders, basically creating their own shadow financial system.
Incredible. So, okay, they set up the physical footprint. The money's flowing.
Yeah.
But these operations need workers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who was doing the actual labor? And, what were their lives like?
That's where it gets really dark. The human cost is just awful. Most of the workers came from Fujian province in China. Some were smuggled in. Others were tricked, lured with promises of jobs in restaurants, legitimate work.
Oh, no. So they arrive expecting one thing and find.
They find themselves trapped, completely trapped inside these grow houses. Phones confiscated, watched constantly, sometimes paid literally just in rice, or often not paid at all.
That's basically modern slavery right here.
It absolutely is. And this kind of exploitation, this trapped labor, it fuels incredible violence in the black market.
How so?
Well, look at the Riverside Massacre, September 7th, 2020. 7 Laotian workers executed at one of these ghost grows in Aguanga, California.
Executed.
Yes, deadliest black market hit in California's history related to weed. They seized 1,000 pounds of cannabis, but the attackers only took the cash. And here's the kicker. As of this year, 2025, suspects linked to a Laotian gang out of San Diego, still uncharged. It just shows this lack of accountability for the violence that this trafficked labor directly enables.
That's horrifying. Just absolutely chilling. And all this labor, this violence, it's all to produce the actual cannabis. Was there a specific type of signature strain coming out of these grows?
Oh, yeah. Between around 2010 and 2018, the market was just flooded with Platinum Bubba OG.
Platinum Bubba. I've heard of that one.
Right, but this version, it was basically the triads, the Chinese organized crime groups like House Strain. It was everywhere. Cheap, dense, just ubiquitous. It got so bad, so low quality, that it completely destroyed the strain's reputation in places like Oregon and Washington. People in the know started calling it Chinese mafia bubba.
Wow. So they were just churning it out. What kind of money are we talking about per house?
The grow math, as they call it, is pretty stunning. A typical house, maybe 20 lights, could produce about 20 pounds every 2 months or so
Okay.
at, say, $1,100 a pound, which was a common price. Then that's $22,000 per cycle, per house.
And completely untaxed, no paper trail.
Exactly. Zero overhead compared to legal ops, just pure untaxed profit. Makes you look at your neighbor's high electricity bill a bit differently, maybe.
No kidding. And the impact on the legal market must have been devastating.
Absolutely devastating. This flood of super cheap, untaxed weed just crashed the prices. Legal farms, the ones paying taxes, following regulations, they couldn't compete. Many went under. Meanwhile, these syndicates just kept booming. It's like a silent killer for the legitimate industry.
Okay, so it's huge, it's profitable, it's destructive. But why is it so hard to take down? You hear about taking out cartel kingpins, but this sounds different.
It is fundamentally different. That's key. This network doesn't have that typical pyramid structure. It's highly decentralized.
Decentralized. How does that work?
It's made up of these small, independent microcells. They're often linked by family or clan ties, and they coordinate using encrypted apps like WeChat. There's no single boss, no central kingpin to target.
So if you bust one cell.
Right, it doesn't really cripple the whole network. That's why all law enforcement finds it so frustrating. Traditional tactics just don't work well. Each little unit usually has, like, 3 parts. A silent investor putting up the cash, someone who's the face, maybe holding a straw license, and then a trafficking boss running the actual grow and the workers.
It sounds like playing whack-a-mole for the cops.
That's exactly what they say it feels like. You hit one, another pops up. The old playbook is just, it's outdated for this kind of structure.
And the logistics, the money. That must be sophisticated, too, to support all these separate cells.
Incredibly sophisticated. They use underground banking systems. The term FACON comes up a lot. It lets them move huge amounts of money fast, totally outside the normal banking world. And the supply chain is integrated but invisible, like a vertical empire hidden in plain sight. Grows on the West Coast, feeding buyers back east, using major highways like I-70, I-80. You've got complicit supply stores, companies importing grow equipment like ballast, nutrient suppliers, all quietly connected.
Wow. And where were the sort of command centers for this? Where do they manage logistics and launder the money?
A lot of evidence points to Chinatowns, New York, San Francisco, LA, Brookings, actually confirm they often serve as these crucial hubs for logistics and laundering. And then you hear these really alarming reports about so-called secret police stations popping up in these areas, allegedly used to intimidate or silence potential whistleblowers within the community.
Secret police station.
Abda.
That's taking it to a whole other level. That's state-level interference almost.
It raises serious questions, absolutely. And this network wasn't content just staying in California or Colorado. They expanded.
Where do they go next?
They targeted states with cheap land and, crucially, looser regulations. Soft rules, as they say. Oklahoma became a huge magnet, especially after 2018 when they started offering grow licenses for just $2,500.
$2,500. That's basically an open invitation.
Pretty much. By 2024, authorities had flagged over 2,000 farms in Oklahoma, and they estimated 75%, 3/4, were tied to Chinese groups.
That's an insane level of penetration. And I bet the violence followed the expansion.
Tragically, yes. November 20th, 2022, in Oklahoma. 4 Chinese nationals were executed at a grow operating under a fake license. A guy named Chen Wu eventually confessed. The motive: classic black market stuff. Turf disputes, unpaid debts. It directly links those cheap, easy licenses to the spread of these violent syndicates.
It's just brutal.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma wasn't the only place.
Nope. The network spread wide. In 2023, the DEA flagged over 100 grows just in rural Maine.
Maine, way up there.
Yeah. One house they raided had 40 pounds ready to go, cash couriers coming and going, and clear links to a syndicate operating across 20 states. Shows you the reach.
And it's still happening now, right? This isn't just history.
Absolutely current.
Yeah.
Just last December 2024, back in California's East Bay, places like Brentwood, Discovery Bay, police found 7,000 plants inside what looked like perfectly normal family homes.
7,000 plants
Yeah.
in houses.
Yeah, even set up in kids' bedrooms in some cases. All traced back to a single Chinese landlord running multiple ghost grows. Still happening, right under our noses.
Which brings us to the really big picture stuff. Homeland Security is involved now.
Yes. They've now officially labeled this network a national security threat. That's a major escalation.
Why national security? Is it just the crime or something more?
There's intel emerging linking the profits from these grows back to investors with connections to the PRC, the People's Republic of China. The suggestion some are making is maybe it's not just weed, it's soft power. using illicit markets for potentially broader geopolitical goals, though that's still being investigated, obviously.
Wow, that's a heavy implication.
Yeah.
But even short of that, the damage to the legal cannabis industry is undeniable. You called it the silent killer.
It really is. Think about it. These triad grows, they pay no taxes, wages are non-existent or slave level, they move massive volume. They can sell product for so much cheaper than legal farms. It bleeds the legitimate market dry. It crushes operators who are trying to do things by the book. And it destroys public trust in the whole legalization project.
And it's not slowing down. You mentioned a recent bust.
Very recent. May 1st, 2025. Just last month. The DOJ busted a big ring based in the San Gabriel Valley, California. They were moving tens of millions using all the same methods: straw companies, LLCs, bulk cash drops, coordinating on WeChat, and connecting grows across California, Oklahoma, New Mexico to shell corporations literally spanning continents. It's ongoing, sophisticated, and deeply dug in.
So let's bring this back home for everyone listening. This Green Dragon Network, it's clearly way more than just, organized crime dealing drugs. What we're really talking about is a kind of foreign-backed agriculture operating systematically, secretly inside the U.S.
Right.
and impacting communities in ways most of us just don't see.
Exactly. And behind every cheap pound, every transaction in this network, there are these huge hidden costs. Laundered money, sure, but also stolen land, stolen resources like water and power, and just profound human suffering. The trafficking aspect is key.
So maybe the takeaway is to think about those hidden layers. Behind everyday things, everyday prices, what global forces are really at play? How do these seemingly distant issues ripple outwards and affect our economy, our society, maybe even our security? What does it really mean when foreign-backed agriculture sets up shop inside your borders? And you have to wonder, what other industries might be facing a similar silent infiltrations right now? Something to think about.